All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Cincinnati Draw, which is supposed to be coming out in the next 20 minutes or 15 minutes. So let's see what happens. I don't know if it's going to be streamed or anything. I don't think it is, unfortunately. But then maybe they will. Maybe it'll be a surprise somewhere. I don't know. But big tournament. This is the biggest tournament pre-US Open event. Only a couple of names are not playing. But most players that you think will win the US Open are playing this week. They have to play because most of them didn't play last week in Canada. So there's a last chance for everybody to get some form. You know, we've got the return of Alcaraz, return of Sinner, return of Sabalenka. So we'll see. There are a lot of players not playing, though. We'll talk about that soon. But, yeah, big tournament. Cincinnati's usually like the big warm-up. So, let's see who plays who. And, again, it's different from last year. It's 2 weeks or 10 days or 12 days. I don't know what they say. 12 days. 96 players, so it's a huge, huge draw. Which means the first 2 days are first round, which is unseeded players, and the seeds play on Saturday, and the finals on a Monday. It's a bit of it's different to last year. They're trying to make them all, these 2-week things. So, all right. My friend just told me Cam Williams sounds like a made-up name for a guy who watches tennis online to get more views. That makes no sense. Your friend is, no comment. I'm getting sick of 2-week Masters. Yeah, look, we talk about them and we don't. They're not. I don't think they're for the fans that watch on TV. They're for the fans at the tournament. If Carlsen's going to make the final, no way they play mixed doubles the next day at the US Open. I mean, mixed doubles, the way it's been played, it's not going to be too taxing on the body, so I think they will. They will play. The big boys are back. Yep, they sure are. All right, let's go to the seeds because... Again, 32 seeds in this one, so it's a huge, huge draw. So on the women's side, you can see there we've got Sabalenka, Gauff, Swiatek, Pegula, top 4 players in the world. Pretty much the entire top 10 is playing except for Zhang and I think Badosa, who might still be in the top 10. So a very stacked draw. Like I said, the last big tournament before the US Open. Sabalenka, a defending champion. Pegula, the finalist from last year. So... both have a lot of points to lose, which we'll talk about later. Some of the other players that are seeded. Mukova, number 11. You've got Towson, who's playing well this week. She's number 16 seed. You've got Kenin is seeded. Fernandez is seeded. Ostapenko is seeded. And then Raducanu is number 30 seed, which is interesting. So, yeah, Raducanu is seeded as well for the first time at a big tournament like this in a long time. So... yeah, Raducanu. She's trying to be seeded at the US Open. That's what this week is all about for her. On the men's side, same thing. Pretty much the entire top 10 except for Djokovic, Draper. You've got Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, and Fritz, the top 4 guys in the world. You've got Shelton, Demonor, both playing really well this week. In fact, they're playing today in Canada. You've also got some of the other players that are a little bit lower ranked. You've got Medvedev, who's number 12. Obviously, we know how good he can be on hard courts. If he can get it together, he could definitely do damage. Some of the other lower-ranked players, you've got Popperin, who obviously played well this week, beating a couple of big names. You've got Fokina, who's been playing really well on the hard courts. Lehechka as well. And then someone like a Mickelson, who's been very, very dangerous over the time. He's obviously done well this week as well in Canada. So, yeah, interesting to see. Let's go to the unseeded players, though, that I think are dangerous. So, these are the players that play first 2 days that we may or may not watch. We'll see. But Osaka, she is dangerous. Obviously played really well last week and is very dangerous, or playing very well this week, I should say, in Canada, and is very dangerous and could be very dangerous next week. Zachary played pretty well this week in Canada and in Washington. So we'll see what she can do in Cincy. Mboko obviously playing really well over in Canada as well right now. Vondrousova, always dangerous on every surface. And Krejcikova, we never know when she's gonna be good. When Big Four Barbara's going to show up. So maybe this is one of those opportunities. On the men's side, you got Monfils, obviously beat Alcaraz here in that famous racket smashing from Alcaraz, who was pissed off and he played at Monfils on that day. Tien, very dangerous on hard courts. We've seen that. Fonseca. I'm interested to see how Fonzie does because it seems like in 2025, the faster the court, the better he's been. Like he was great in Australia. He was great. He was probably surprisingly good at Wimbledon. And, on the clay, he was kind of struggling. So I think maybe the fast courts of Cincy, maybe he does do some damage because he hasn't really done as much damage as maybe we thought from the start of the year. Opelka, obviously with that serve on this fast court, is going to be crazy. And Marin Cilic, I think might have won this tournament before. Definitely, nobody wants to play Marin Cilic, ever. And can win, even though he's like 37. So there you go. There are the players. Any other players? I can't think of too many unseeded players because, first of all, there's not that many unseeded players. There's so many seeds that, the unseeded players are sort of below 30, 35 in the world and below. So there's not too many really good players or really dangerous players you'd expect on paper. Had to include Fonseca. Well, didn't you just hear what I said? So we'll see. I don't know if... Cilic hasn't withdrawn, so I don't know if... I'm assuming that he's playing. I haven't seen him on the withdrawal list, so... speaking of withdrawal list, let's go to that as well, because this is the withdrawal list. You can see there that you got Andreeva, who is the highest-ranked player on the women's side. She's not playing because I think of an ankle problem. Badosa's not playing, Boison's not playing, Eala's not playing, Jabeur, Kvitova, and Zhang all not playing. So some big names. Very big names there. On the men's side, you've got Berrettini, Brooksby, Bublik, Dimitrov, Gerard, Djokovic. Surprising that Novak's not playing. Not sure why, but maybe just because he doesn't need to. Draper obviously has had some injury problems, so that's a real concern. Hurkacz, Korda, and Kyrgios. So, so some big names. I think the two biggest concerns are Draper and Andreeva. Because Draper hasn't played at all since Wimbledon. And Andreeva last week getting injured, not playing this week, that's sketchy. Djokovic I'm not worried about because Djokovic sometimes... Djokovic didn't play last year after the Olympics and he went to the US Open. Didn't do great, but Djokovic is the type of player that doesn't need to have a warm-up before a slam. Look at him, how good he does at Wimbledon each year without any warm-ups, So I wouldn't be too worried about Djokovic. But Draper and Andreeva, for sure. Zhang's also not playing the US Open. She's out of action. So, but yeah, Draper and Andreeva are the two big ones, two top 10 players. And it's like, are they going to be okay for the US Open? Especially Draper, because Draper hasn't played at all. All right. Yeah, Venus is playing. She's playing this week. She could be dangerous for sure. All right. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Draw should be coming out pretty shortly. Again, they're not showing it anywhere because that's just not the way American tournaments happen that way. It's weird because Miami kind of do a draw ceremony, but not really. Indian Wells do one, but they don't show it. I don't know why this is a thing. It's like, chat, can anybody tell me why is it that the American tournaments can't get draw ceremonies right? Like, what is the deal? Like, how can they not? It must be something to do with, like, access to tournaments or, like, I don't know. There must be some rule in America that's like, yeah, you can't broadcast the draw. I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's weird that, like, it's just like, oh, by the way, we're going to release the draw at this time. It's like, what? There must be a rule because none of the American tournaments do a draw ceremony properly. They either do one and it's like, oh, it doesn't really, it's really sketchy, and they don't do one at all, and they just release the draw, and it's like, well, that's not fun. It's way more fun to go to do like a 30-minute thing where we go through like who's playing who and all that stuff. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. There must be a rule. There must be some there must be some rule about like not being able to. But it's weird because like all the other Grand Slams are able to do it. So I don't know what it is. There's no ceremony, but the draw will come out. Just bought tickets for the finals yesterday. I'm so pumped. Hey, Lindsay, enjoy that. They got to rig the draw for Americans. I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's just because they're going to rig the draw. Because I tell you, look, okay, if I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat and be a conspiracy theorist for a bit, if you can rig the draw and still do a ceremony, right? If I'm going to chuck on that tinfoil hat and we're gonna play the game of you could do the draw beforehand and then just like broadcast the ceremony the way and it's you don't need to not do a ceremony to have the draw be manipulated. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it because you're saying it. The NBA does a draft? Yeah, I don't know why. Again, it's always so strange that like the NBA do it well. NFL, I mean, it's not that America can't do that. It's just that there's gotta be a legality around it. It's gotta be some sort of we can't do it. It's not because we don't want to do it. Because if America could do it, they would do it really well. Especially the US Open. The US Open would put so much into it. It must be some sort of like they must not be allowed to do it because they've signed off on something that stopped them from. It must be some reason. There's got to be some like maybe they've signed the broadcast rights for a draw to somebody else and they don't do them. I don't know. Best ceremonies in Rome at Trevi Fountain. Nah, Wimbledon's the best. Australian Open's good too, but Wimbledon's the best. Because Wimbledon just gets straight to the point. They go, it's, whatever time, midday, and we're doing the draw, and they go, all right, welcome everybody to the draw. This is the draw. Like, they just do it so quick. Wimbledon do it right. Whereas most of the other tournaments do like a whole interview thing, and they kind of like go through 20 minutes. No, that's fine, but Wimbledon just gets straight to it. They're not mucking around. The only thing that Wimbledon go through like every single match, which is a little bit redundant, but it's fine. I'd rather them go through every single match and draw out every name individually, and then have to yeah. To be honest, if I could, the perfect draw ceremony for me is when they auto-generate they auto-generate the names or the unseeded players, and then they draw the seeds out, and they do it that way. That's my favorite way of doing the draw. Like, I love it when they do the draw that way. When they go, okay, here's all the unseeded players, boom, and it's just like all the names populate the draw, and then they kind of go through and you go, okay, where are the unseeded players, who's who, whatever, and then they draw the seeds, because that's the most fun to react to, because we already know where the 1 and 2 go, but when like 3 and 4 and who they're going to play, if we know who's going to play a seed, and then we kind of like see who, like remember at the French Open probably do it the best. Wimbledon do it. I love the punctuality, but probably French Open probably do the best draw ceremony. The way they do it. And also the Australian Open. I like the way they do it. Remember when Rafa remember Rafa was going to play a seed, and then it was Zverev, and it was like, whoa, like that was so much fun. Like, those are the fun parts of the draw for me. When you're like, oh, Rafa's going to play number 3 or 4, and he's playing Zverev, and you're like, oh my God, Zverev, Rafa first round, it's crazy. Or Osaka Swiatek, right? I love that. It's so much fun. But we don't have that here because I don't think they're doing the draw. By the way, follow me on Twitter or send me things on Twitter, because when we don't have a ceremony, this is the sort of we gotta create our own. So we gotta help each other here. Who do you think will win the mixed doubles, the US Open? I don't know. It could be anybody. Pick a name. Yeah, Djokovic Nadal at the Olympics. Yeah, that was crazy too. Watch Venus versus Osaka first round? Maybe. All right. Swiatek versus Venus, please? Maybe. But yeah, again, we're just going to wait for this draw to come out. There's no... But we haven't even talked about the rankings. Let's go through the rankings. So this is who has the most to gain and lose at the tournament. I'm actually surprised at how many players didn't play well at Cincinnati last year. So obviously Sabalenka won the tournament. Pegula made the final, so they've got a lot of points on the line. Swiatek made the semis, and Badosa, who's not playing, is going to lose those points at 390. And then Sinner, Tiafoe made the final. Zverev and Rune made the semis. So again, a lot of points on the line. But then look at the players that don't have points to lose. They've got points to gain. Gauff lost second round last year. Raducanu, second round last year. Keys and Anisimova both didn't play. So those points are going to be, they're going to add points to their total. And then on the men's side, same thing. You got Alcaraz, lost in the second round. You got Medvedev, who's got points to gain. Demonor didn't play, and Fritz lost in the first round. So some huge opportunities there for those top 10 players. You know, obviously Sinner and Sabalenka, even if they don't play well, they will still be number one. But the players that could, you know, especially, you know, Alcaraz, Fritz, Gauff, could all gain points and close the gap between themselves and Sinner or Sabalenka. So, yeah, big opportunity for those players. We all know that Gauff and Alcaraz can both do well here. They both, Alcaraz almost won the tournament at the same year that Gauff won the tournament. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Also, I'm interested to see what the court speed's going to be like, because last year it was faster than anything. I wonder if this year it's going to be, if it's going to be just as fast as it was, or if they've slowed it down a little bit after all the all the madness that happened last year. I hope they keep the same speed. I like that it's fast. I like that it's, you know, that players hate it because it's more fun. Like you got to adjust. You got to adjust it to it, you know. Reports are that it's grittier than last year. Ah, boo, boo, boo. That sucks. No, we want fast. We want fast. A fast, lightning, quick court. Come on. Swiatek till the WTA Finals is defending only US Open quarterfinal. Yeah. Yep. That is going to be interesting. Loving the blue court. Yeah, so they did renovations, didn't they? I know what the first thing happens if it's going to rain. If it rains once this week, the thing is going to be, you know, everyone's going to be like, why didn't you build a roof? Unfortunately, that's just how it works, right? You change the colors of the seats, but you didn't build a roof. But it kind of looks like this court looks Australian Open. I thought it was very similar to the Australian Open. I kind of miss, and maybe, I don't know, maybe they can't do this anymore, but I kind of miss when different parts of the season had the same court colors, so that way you kind of knew what time of year it was based on the color of the court. You know, I kind of wish that was they still did that. Like the US Open, all the tournaments during the US Open series were all the same color, so that way you knew, oh yeah, you know, Cincinnati and Canada it must be near the US Open. But now they're kind of just all doing their own thing. Everything's blue now. That's because blue is the best contrast, one of the best contrasts against the green ball, you know, the yellow ball. That's why it's they've changed the colors to make it easier to watch on TV. You know. Can you slide on AO court? I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. The double blue does look great, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks good. It just feels like we're watching the Australian Open a little bit. Purple is the easiest to watch on TV. Yeah, purple color's good. Like Indian Wells, you're talking about? All right, so they said the draw was coming out at around 3. I mean, then again, nobody said this. This is just all speculation that the draw is coming out at 3 p.m., which was 15 minutes ago. So, oh yeah, you're right. Swiatek is not defending anything. Oh, I forgot. And neither is Sinner. Wait, no, Sinner is. Wait, Sinner is. I think. Wait, is Sinner? Or did he get penalised? No, he didn't get penalised for Cincy. Only for Indian Wells, right? I forgot about that. You're right. Swiatek is not defending any points because she lost all the points that she gained. That's true. That's true. I forgot about that. So yeah, you're right. Swiatek is playing for free, which is great for her chances of she literally has no points to defend until for the rest of the year, pretty much, except for the US Open. I forgot about that. And she made the semis last year, so she's, playing for free. The men and women's draw is coming out today. I don't think the women's draw is coming out tomorrow. I think they're both coming out today. They should both come out today. Why would it's so stupid that they would do it one day after another. I forgot that the points were drawn. Yeah, I forgot that too. They should be releasing the draw any moment. The draw should be coming out any moment. They said 3 p.m. local time would be the announcement. They don't stream it, or at least they're not streaming it, that I could tell. But when it comes out, we'll go through it. Thanks from Italy for following the ceremony with us. You're the best. Thank you. No worries. Bublik never plays Cincy since his kid. Okay. I'm glad many players are back for Cincy. Well, yeah, this is the last opportunity to get the form, Do you think Paolini will fall out of the top 10 this year? No. I think she will stay in the top 10. She might be like number 9 or number 10, but I think she'll stay. I think she'll stay in the top 10, at the bottom of the top 10. Now, let me just check if we have anything coming out of Cincinnati. All right. So they're posting on their story, but they're not posting anything that's. They're They're not posting anything about the draw. Can't believe the US Open is here already. Yeah. Yep. And then after the US Open, it's like 6 months until we get a slam. Like the US Open ends and then, well, not 6 months. For 4 months. Like October, November, December. Well, September as well, because September, I mean, post-US Open, a lot of people check out of tennis, which is a little bit sad. It's sad that we don't end, like the end of the year. It's weird. Tennis is such a weird sport because usually on every other sport, it's a build-up to the very end, right? It's a build-up to the last week of the season. This year, it's like, well, every year in tennis, it's like, we start with a grand slam, it's like, bang, we're back. Then it kind of like, gets a little quiet, and then the clay season kind of ramps up, and then we get to the French Open, and then we go straight to Wimbledon, and then it kind of slows down a little bit, and then it we slow down for a couple of weeks, and then US Open, and then after that it's kind of like goes down, and then at the end it's like, oh, ATP Finals, but it's not that's not as big as a Grand Slam. At the end of the year is very people kind of check out post US Open, and then like some people return for the ATP Finals, but it's not on the same level as a Slam. I wonder if it was different when back in the day they had the Australian Open in December. I wonder if that. I mean, they can't do that now because the Australian Open is where it is because of school holidays and work holidays and summer holidays. So they wouldn't put it in December because people are still doing stuff before Christmas. But yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Tennis is such a weird sport that we kind of end. I just kind of like after the US Open, it kind of just like stops for a while, pretty much. Aren't they thinking of putting this straight up in February? No. If anything, they should put if they're going to move the Australian Open, they should put it in December. And they should put it before Christmas, even though I know like people are not going to go to the Australian Open before Christmas, but it would be better to have it in December than in February. Because February, everyone goes back to work, everyone goes back to school, nobody's free to go to the tennis during that time. But December, people are everything's kind of like shutting down, everything's slowing down before Christmas, so there's like people are free to do stuff. But again, January is the perfect time to have the Australian Open. Like that's the only other sport it's competing with is cricket. Everybody's free during that time, so yeah, they wouldn't put the Australian Open in. Like the only reason it's been mentioned to be put in February is because of this Saudi 1000 that's coming in a few years. But they're going to put that in February. They're going to put that in February, and it's going to be a part of that Middle Eastern swing that we have. With Dubai and Doha and Abu Dhabi and all those tournaments. It's hard to watch the Asian swing from North America. Oh, yeah, I mean, for sure. Does Swiatek have a realistic chance to be number 2 seed at the US Open? Yes. She will have to win the tournament, and Gauff will have to lose in the first couple of days, but yeah, she has a realistic chance, but I wouldn't say she. I don't think she will. I think Gauff will get enough points to stay ahead. I mean, if you don't think her winning the tournament is realistic, then no. But if you think she can, then yeah. Mathematically, not realistic. Oh, yeah. Okay, mathematically she can. Realistically, I mean, Gauff might lose early. I hope not, but she might. But Swiatek winning the tournament over Sabalenka, I don't know. Depends where she's in the draw. She might have to play Sabalenka in the semis. Cam will get some sleep during the Asian swing. Finally, a normal time zone for you. Yeah. Swiatek looked very chaotic and stressed in Montreal. Only in the Towser match. She looked alright everywhere the other times. By the way, draw's supposed to be coming out, or supposed to be out now. If the draw's out, send it to me on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. I think Nole winning the US Open is likely as Nole winning Roland Garros, which is slim. Okay, that was very... Why did you say it like that? You could have said that a lot easier. That was a hard thing. Why did you write it like that? Apparently, it's out in 6 minutes. Well, it was supposed to come out at 3 p.m., so... Yeah, Osaka is playing. Osaka will be seated at the US Open. Possibly. I mean, she has to do well this week, but who's going to win Toronto, both men and women? Raducanu and Raducanu and Fritz. No, it's Zverev. Zverev and Raducanu. Comes out at 3:30 p.m. I mean, I haven't heard anything. All I heard was it was coming out at 3 p.m. And it's past that, so I don't know. All right. They're doing it live and started at 3. They're not streaming it. Where are you getting this information? How do you know that? Tell me where you found this information so I can confirm it. Refreshing Twitter. Need an MTO, but that's funny. Best result for Toronto would be Osaka and Shelton winning the tournament. Maybe, yeah. I saw somewhere they said they were going to do it live at the fan zone like Indian Wells. Oh, okay. That's what you meant. Yeah, I think I heard that too. But I didn't know hear a time or anything. I didn't know what. Like I heard 3 p.m. was the guesstimation. Like it was on their like app or something. First, let's see if Osaka can beat Svitolina. Yes, Svitolina has been very underrated. National affiliation aside, who have you got, Demon or Shelton later? I'm gonna go I think Demon will beat Shelton. Shelton's played some tough matches, and I think Demon will just out rally Shelton. Like Demon will get enough shots back that Shelton will make enough errors to. Shelton will make the errors that will give the Demon will win. Like Demon's defense will beat Shelton's offense, I think. All right, we're still just waiting for the draw to come out. It's supposed to be coming out now. Again, these things are very like. There's no yeah. We rant about this when there's no ceremony live. We always talk about how annoying it is, but it is supposed to be coming out now. Demonor could neutralize Ben's serve. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Demonor will. After a couple of and if you look at like Demonor versus Opelka, for example, that matchup, and I know Shelton's better on the ground than Opelka, but Demonor can defend well against big servers, and I think he'll just rally more, be better in the rallies. He'll get the serve back and then rally Shelton. Also, Shelton's played two final set tiebreaks in the last 2 matches, so he's got to be feeling a little tired too. Anyways, we'll watch that later. I'm excited for that match. That match is probably the most excited match of the week for me so far. Is no one even reporting on the progress of the draw anywhere? No. Hoping for a back in the Keys final? Okay. Why is Popper not losing points? Because he'll lose points next week. Because the tournament started as far as I'm concerned, the next 2 weeks, because last year the tournaments were in totally different times and it was a totally different schedule, just forget about points coming off. Like, don't look at ranking points this week. It's just going to be a shit show. They're going to randomly, next week, they're going to take the points off for this week, and then it's just, don't worry about it. Just worry about the rankings after Cincinnati, and then it'll be back to normal. The schedule is just so different that, yeah, you're just going to do your head in if you're going to try and, figure out, when people are losing points and stuff. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm not even going to bother. No ranking show until, post Cincinnati, because can't do a ranking show when the tournament starts on a friggin' Thursday. Will Shelton and Fritz be a semi-final? Yes. Yes. Yeah, Fritz and Rublev played today as well. We'll watch that as well. All right, we're still just waiting for the draw. Thanks for all patiently hanging around. Again, thank you for sticking around. I know it's a pain in the ass that these things take so long, but unfortunately, I don't have any more information than you do. So we are here, and we're going to wait until the draw comes out. When it comes out, we're going to talk about it. The draw is coming out now, or around. It should be coming out in the next little bit. It's supposed to be coming out around now. Again, follow me on Twitter if you see anything. By the way, if you see any screenshots or any photos or anything of the draw. Send it to us, so then I'm trying to refresh things so then we can get on top of it. But yeah, if you see anything before I do, make sure you try and send it to us so then you can help us all. If I don't see it first. It's so early for you, Cam. I know. But that's right. Yeah, I think next year it's really tricky. I love doing these draw shows, but I only like doing them when we get to see the draw. Because I don't think it's as fun when the draw just gets like released in one big go. I like going through like each match, and doing that, but I don't know. Maybe next year we'll have to reassess it, because I don't know if waking up at 4 a.m. to wait for a screenshot of a draw is worth doing. I don't know if it's that, and that. I'd rather go through the draw together, watching it together. It's not really a watch along when we're not watching anything. So I don't know. We'll have to reassess it. It's weird they didn't give Jovic a wild card. Really? Who got the wild cards? I haven't even. I'll check. Let me check. Did they give out all the wild cards yet? They haven't given them out yet, I don't think. No, they haven't given out the wild cards yet. They've only given one to McNally, Zachary, and Venus. There's still 5 wild cards to give. So she'll probably get one, unless she's in the qualies, and then they... Oh no, she's in the qualies. Okay, so they didn't give her one. Who got the wild cards? That's weird. Maybe she said, no, I don't want a wild card. I want to play the qualies. Some players want to get that extra form, I do think it's silly to have only 2 qualifier rounds. If you're going to have a big tournament, you're going to have 3 qualies. And I know, chat, we've talked about this every single week. I know we talk about this all the time. But it's much better if they just went like, you know what, let's just chop off the first round of the main draw, make that the final round of qualies, and then no one gets a bye in the first round. All the seeds play from the start. And it's like, I think that's, I don't know how many players lose their spot. Maybe it's like a 64-player draw at that stage. But I think that's much better. Because the first round is going to feel like qualifying. We know that. We've seen that, right? We even feel that with Indian Wells, and we love that tournament. the first round of these 1000s doesn't feel like, it still feels like we're watching the qualies until we start watching Sinner and Alcaraz and the second rounds where it starts, But yeah. Mboko is going to get a special exempt or a performance buy. Or no, not a performance buy. Special exempt. So she's going to get in because of the... If you put in... I think I put in like a little note for that, didn't I? I think. Yeah, there you go. So she's going to get a special exempt because a special exempt is given to a player who's unable to appear in the qualifying tournament because they are competing in the final rounds of a previous tournament. So she'll get a special exempt. Yeah. So she'll get a special exempt next week, which is part of the... And again, or she'll get a wild card, last minute wild card, That's sort of the deal. So yeah. That will be what happens. Oh, have we got something? We got something? Oh, here we go. Okay, so the men's quarterfinals have been, or possible quarterfinals. So you got Sinner and Musetti in the same quarter. Fritz and Sinner in the same half. Okay. And that means, Shelton Zverev quarterfinal and then Demon or Alcaraz. So Rune, Fritz. Okay, that's interesting. So Rune versus Sinner could be a semi-final. I think that's pretty nice. Evenly spread. And then Zverev versus Alcaraz could be a semi-final. I like that. I think that's all right. Thanks, Dutchie. I think that's pretty good. I think that's an even spread. But then we don't know who's playing in the first couple of rounds, so we'll find out that. But that's all right. I like that. It's good. By the way, I know that there's been word that they're not going to release the women's draw tomorrow. God, I hope that's incorrect. Because why would they? Why? Why do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's so annoying. Just release both draws today. Sinner losing in second round will be funny. Well, there's only a few players that Bubelik's not here, so he can't lose second round. No one's going to beat him in the second round. Maybe Opelka serving bigger than he's ever served before, but... Also, the schedule just came out for tomorrow. So it's Zverev versus Hashanov, and then the second semifinals of whoever wins today. Okay. Cool. Cincinnati should cancel 42 minutes for a draw is embarrassing. Don't be one of those people. Just be patient. Patience is a superpower, all right? Just be patient. In a world full of, TikTok and, impulse purchases and all of that, instant food, instant, all that shit. Just be patient, because not many people have that anymore. Patience is lost. So if you're patient, then you won't get annoyed. Yeah. By the way, chat, I've got a project that I'm working on that has nothing to do with tennis. I've decided, because I found my old iPod video, from back in the classic, back in the 2000s. It doesn't work. I'm going to fix it and upgrade it, and it's going to look cool. I'm so excited. I'm just waiting for all the gear to rock up, but I'm going to work and fix my iPod. And then I'm going to put all the CDs that I bought on the iPod. And that's what I'm going to do. I thought you were going to announce your DVD store. Not yet. I think WTA is tomorrow at 3. Fuck. Don't say that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to come back tomorrow and do it again. I don't want to come back and have to do another one of these. Because, to be honest, there's nothing to do. Like I said, doing this, it's not the same as when they show the ceremony, When they show the ceremony, it's a different, it's different. Yeah, the WTA website said the draw was today. So I've prepared for today, for everything to come out today. Hopefully we get all the stuff today. I hope. At least I've prepared for that. WTA website says today. Yeah, I've seen that too. The draw is out. Where is it? Send it to me. Send it to me. Where is it? Where is it? All I know is the quarterfinal matchups. I don't know anything else. We're waiting. Waiting. Still waiting. Have patience, Cam. Hey, I am very patient. Yeah, Andreeva withdrew. Favorite doubles team? For this mixed doubles coming up? I like Shelton and Townsend. I think it's a good mixture of great like doubles representation, but also excitement and fun. I reckon they're my favorite. They're going to be my favorites. I'm picking them to win. That's my pick to win. I think they're the good. That's exactly what the mixed doubles should be. It's going to bring fans and it's going to be exciting, and but also it's going to it does legitimize some the doubles, because they are doubles. Well, at least Townsend's the number one doubles player in the world. We're still just waiting for the draw to be released. It's been announced, partly. It's been announced, but it hasn't been released. We only know the quarterfinal matchups. We don't know who's playing who in the first rounds, though. The WTA matches will start before the draw comes out. Yeah. So the quarterfinal matchups are Sinner versus Musetti, Fritz versus Rune, Shelton versus Zverev, de Minaur versus Alcaraz. So top half of the draw, you got Sinner, Musetti, Fritz, Rune. Winners play in the semis if the seeds play out. And then the bottom half of the draw, you got Zverev versus Shelton. Winner plays Alcaraz versus de Minaur. So that is that. So far, based on that tiny bit of information, Alcaraz has a worse draw than Sinner. That is what I'm taking out of that. But we don't know who there's plenty of lower ranked players that could be third round opponents, such as, you've got Griekspoor is number 27 seed. He could be dangerous down the bottom. Tsitsipas could play Alcaraz or Sinner in a third round. So that's interesting. So that sucks for Steph. But you got, Soningo's dangerous. Mikkelson's dangerous. Shapovalov can be dangerous. Diallo could be dangerous if the big serve works, So they could be third round opponents for the top guys. Obviously, the unseeded players we talked about with Tien and Fonseca and Monfils, all could be first round or second round matches for any of those top seeds. So that is where we're at. That is where we are at. Who does Emma play? I don't know yet. We don't know. Yeah, every 32 seeds, all the seeds get a bye in the first round. That is the way it works now. Tsitsipas washed up. Well, I think he'll get better. Can we go back in a time when we didn't have 2-week Masters? Probably not. We're probably not going to go backwards. If anything, in maybe 5 years, they might change it. The only way they change back to not 2-week Masters is if a lot of players get injured and don't play. That's the only way they're gonna consider probably changing it. Or if the PTPA, who have got their lawsuits and stuff, if the PTPA, the Players Association, make a stand around the fact that these tournaments are not good for players, like that's the only way they're going to change it. Fans are not going to be. We're not going to influence it at all. We don't have a voice in. We're not there at the meetings. We don't get to decide. It feels like the Player Association, on behalf of the players, would say that they're not good for players, which maybe starts conversations. Or the players, the ATP, WTA realize that it's not healthy for players if the players are getting injured a lot and not participating, right? Because the reason why is they're playing is, or the reason why they're doing this is because they want to have maximum players, and make these mini slams, mini Grand Slams. Do you think the PTPA has influence? The PTPA has. I mean, it might not be able to influence the ATP and WTA, but it does have the players' interest in mind. So it does have, it's. I don't know if they could change anything, but it's still like they've got the backing of the players for the most part. So that's a good thing, right? Like it's the only thing the only way the players will be heard is through the PTPA. At this rate, at this stage, right? Look what happened in Toronto. ATP needs to open their eyes and see how bad these tournaments is. Yeah, the thing is, like, also, I mean, the only other way is if, like, these tournaments are more expensive to run, and they're not making back the money. They're, because they're, I don't think we should. We don't need to. We all know that, like, making the tournaments longer means that the tournament makes more money, right? And that's part of the reason why, bringing in more revenue. You add 3 extra days. Or 4 extra days, and you're going to make 4 extra days worth of ticket sales and, broadcasts, revenue and stuff. So obviously that's a reason to. I don't think we should pretend like they're not trying to, make more money out of those tournaments. But if they don't make more money out of those tournaments because of, then they, with the extended format, then maybe they will change it. But I don't know how they're not going to make more money. Like, it seems like, of course, they're going to make more. It would be pretty outrageous if they lost money by selling more tickets. Like, that seems silly, right? Like, I don't think it's going to lose money. Where is this 3 p.m. draw? Yeah, I mean, it's out there. At least the seeds have been. There's something going on because we're getting a little. Like, we're like hamsters in a cage. We're getting little drip feeds of information. By the way, apparently Cerundolo was out. Okay, draw just came out. Men's draw just come out. Here we go. Let me have a look. Okay, Sinner. He's got a qualifier or Capriva in the second round. By the way, I am going to retweet it. So if you want to go check it out. Also, I hope that the women's draw comes out now as well, because they said that it was going to come out today on the website. Okay, so we've got Sinner, Diallo third round. That could be interesting. Okay. Sinner third round against Diallo could be interesting. Full draw is out. I've just retweeted it. You can go check it out yourself if you don't want to stick around. And again, women's draw is supposed to be coming out, so we're going to stick around for that too. Paul versus Sinner fourth round. Okay, that could be interesting. By the way, men's first rounds. I mean, besides like a couple, unless Tien versus Fonseca, it's going to be boring. For the most part. Okay, Ruud versus FAA third round. Musetti Tsitsipas third round. Okay, that's actually interesting because both of those guys. I mean, Musetti hasn't been great because of injury, and Tsitsipas is looking for form. That's an interesting third round if it happens. That could be an interesting third round. Fritz Sonigo third round. That feels fun. Okay. Fakina versus Kaboli. Okay, that could be fun too. I'm just looking for unseeded players. Doesn't seem like there's too many. Again, first rounds are all pretty average. Like, they're not really any like blockbuster first rounds on the men's side. And that was the same in Canada, right? I mean, that's just the thing. There's not too many. Most of the best players in the world are in the top 30, There's not too many lower-ranked best players, right? Rune versus Mickelson third round could be fun, too. All right, Shelton and Norrie third round, okay. Lehechka Medvedev third round, that could be fun. Feast Hashanov, Zverev versus Monfils second round. That could be interesting, too. Where's Fonseca? Oh, Tien versus a lucky loser winner plays Rublev. Oh, Rublev-Tien rematch. Love that. I don't see Fonseca in the draw. Am I blind? I am blind. Fonseca, Boo, winner plays Fakina. Okay. Tien Rublev second round is probably the most exciting part of the draw for me. At the start with. Other than that, I mean, Alcaraz versus either Bellucci or Jumher. Greek Sport Alcaraz third round. That's kind of interesting if the courts are quick. Menchik versus Alcaraz fourth round. That's fun. But again, chat, this is maybe no surprise, because it kind of happens a lot with these 2-week Masters on the men's side. There's not much going on until the seeds collide. Unless, obviously we're going to watch Alcaraz, Sinner, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't, like on paper, there's not too many crazy second rounds except for Tien Rublev. That's the only one that's like piquing my interest. Fonseca for Keane is interesting, but not like... It'd be more interesting if it was Fonseca Fritz or something, you know. Chorich O'Connell, winner plays Fritz. That could be interesting too. Monfils Zverev, second round's kind of interesting. Opelka Demonor, second round could be fun too. But again, it's the tournament will start on Monday when the seeds play each other in the third round. I think that seems to be my vibe around this. Can we just fast forward to Sinner versus Diallo in the third round? That's what I want to wait for. Let's just get to that. Because we know Sinner's going to beat a qualifier in the second round. Let's just get to the third round. All right. Look, it's all right. It's interesting. I'm more interested for the women's draw, though. I think the women's draw is more exciting early. Like it was in Canada, right? Women's draw was way better on day 1 and 2 than the men's draw. We haven't even watched ATP until the quarterfinals. That's how tough it was, you know, last week. Obviously, this week we're going to start watching. You know, we're going to watch Sinner. We're going to watch because it's the last chance for everybody to get some form. So we're going to watch Sinner. We're going to watch Alcaraz. We're going to watch a lot more ATP this week to figure out who's playing well. Yeah, Boo versus Fonseca. Yeah, if you want me to give you any information, just tell me. Like, if you want to know who's playing my player, let me know. I've retweeted it though, so if you want to check it out yourself, you can go on Twitter. Again, I'm gonna wait for the women's draw. We're gonna stick around for a bit. Hopefully, it is a thing. But I don't know who has a bad draw. I mean, it doesn't seem like anyone has a bad... I mean, Alcaraz has a worse draw, but only from like the second half of the tournament onwards. I think Alcaraz has a worse draw than Sinner, but it's like... Because Sinner's so good on hard courts, is probably it's probably more that. I don't know. Chad, it's weird. This is a weird... It's always a weird... I don't know. What's Feast's draw look like? So Feast will play the winner of Muller Brooksby and then Hashanov third round. So that's actually... Feast has got a tricky draw. You know, Brooksby has played well on hard courts. Winner plays Hashanov's played well this week. And then it will be Feast versus Zverev in the fourth round, which I would love to see, but I don't know. There's a lot of matches still before that for Feast to play Zverev in the fourth round. Yeah, it's a pretty balanced draw. I agree. I don't think anyone's got a bad draw on paper. Like, there's no nightmare for any... Like, the top 4 seeds, you know, maybe Zverev plays Monfils in the second round, but I don't think that's bad. I mean, maybe Zverev has a harder draw than Fritz, but not by much. Like, Fritz's draw also... I mean, maybe Fritz has got a slightly harder draw because he's got to play Sonigo and Fonseca and Caboli. And those guys have all been playing pretty well. At least Fonseca and Caboli have been both playing really well. So they're going to be a tough fourth round. Whereas Zverev has got to play Hashanov or Feast. Again, it's very similar. I mean, because Feast has been good at times, and then Hashanov's been good this week. So, I don't know. And then Sinner and Alcaraz, again, yeah, it's very even. None of the top seeds seem to have a bad draw. At least until we find I mean, maybe the qualifiers. Maybe is there anyone in the qualies that could be a dangerous player for Sinner? Struff? Maybe? I don't know. Doesn't seem like there's too many qualies that are like... That could, put... I mean, Basilashvili is dangerous in general, he could be dangerous maybe for Sinner in the second round. It's a very, I'm grasping at straws. I doubt that Sinner's going to lose a set to Basilashvili, but he's had his moments in his career. So yeah, I don't know. I think Sinner's fine. Fonseca for Kina first. Second round is really tough. Yeah, that's really fun. That will be fun. I don't think anything to watch there until Monday. Yeah, on the weekend we'll watch like some of the top seeds. The first 2 days, like I said, there's not even any first round blockbusters. you know what? Basevaredi Monfils is interesting because Basevaredi, a young player coming through, Monfils obviously the veteran. That's interesting, but you have to be super hardcore into tennis to know that, to watch, to know that's interesting, right? Like Basevaredi versus Monfils is such a deep cut. Some of you in the chat might not even know why that's a good match. Basevaredi, you probably never heard of him. Some people in the chat, which is fine because he played well at the start of the year and played well against Djokovic in the Australian Open. That was the big one. But Fonseca versus Boo, Tien versus a qualifier, depends who that is. It could be interesting. Opelka versus Dillian. Unless you have a favorite player that's unseeded, there's not really any. Like, I wouldn't be telling everybody to stay up late to watch most of those first rounds. But on the women's side, that might be a different story because there's a lot more unseeded players there. We've got, Sakari, Umboko, Osaka, Vondrousova, Krejcikova. So there's going to be a lot more fun. I think Andreescu maybe, if she's playing. So there could be a lot more first round fun for on the ladies' side. Women's side so much better. Yeah, it always. It has been for the entire year, just because it runs deeper. The thing on the ATP is that, I think the reason these 1000s really start really slow is because the top players win these tournaments, on the men's side. On the women's side, it's a little bit more open. As we saw this week, look in Canada, right? Had a great list of players, but the top seeds didn't win. We had a lot of upsets. So on the men's side, it's like, well, okay, Sinner, if he loses, that would be a massive shock. If he loses to anyone other than the top five. And then, Alcaraz, he might, he usually has a little bit harder matches because the way he plays can be, a little more volatile at times. But, Fritz and Zverev, they might lose early, but they're playing well this week, so maybe they won't. Oh, ran out of tea already. Jesus. We have been live for an hour and a half. All right. Now, again, as far as we know, the women's draw is coming out as well. Unless we get word that it's not, the women's draw is supposed to be coming out as well. According to the website, WTA website. So please, everybody just pray. Please release the women's draw too. Don't hold it to tomorrow because that is a waste of everybody's time. And we've already wasted enough. A court slow or fast in Cincy? They are fast. Faster than most other hard courts. Even this year, apparently last year it was too fast, so then they went, we'll make it a little bit less fast, but I think it's still going to be faster than Toronto and Montreal. It's going to be faster than this week, I think. Last year's CPI was 45. Yeah, so I don't think they're going to drop it down to 30s. 37, but I think it's still going to be fast, but it's not going to be as fast as last year. But I think it's still going to be fast. I don't think they're going to drop it to like Indian Wells. Like, you know, it's still going to be quick, medium fast, but probably going to be faster than this week. Fast enough to annoy players last year, even though the court, those who like fast court. I love fast court. The fast courts were fun. Thought it was great last year. I loved that everyone was complaining. It was hilarious. But it's also like we can't make everything the same, otherwise it's going to be boring. They'll probably drop it down to like a 42. So maybe like Australian Open fast. It might like that would be probably the best. I drop it down to like Australian Open fast. That would maybe be the best option. I think Carlos will be better hardcourt season this year. Okay. All right, we're just waiting for the... I mean, I don't know if we're waiting for the ladies' draw or if we're waiting for confirmation that they're doing the draw or confirmation they're not doing the draw. Yeah. Yeah, I can't see any information. No information that yes or no that the draw's coming out. So we'll stick around. Where's the draw? I retweeted it, so you can go check it out on Twitter. Can't find any WTA draw. Yeah, well, it says on it says on the WTA website that it was supposed to come out today. And this came out 4 hours ago. I'm just having a look. So this came out 4 days ago. So it says main draw ceremony comes out on Tuesday, the 5th of August, and it starts on the 7th. So it's supposed to come out today. According to the WTA website, they don't give us a time, but it says 5th of August. That was 4 days ago, so maybe it changed. But hopefully it doesn't change. Hopefully it does come out in the next 10 minutes. Here are the key facts we need to know about the main draw. Comes out on the 5th. Yeah. So then seeds probably placed Saturday. Yeah. WTA site lied to us? No, they just did the men's draw. What are you talking about lied? We still don't know if they're gonna we still don't know whether or not it's coming out. The men's draw's out. I just retweeted it. Follow me on Twitter. I just put it out on Twitter. Two days out and they haven't awarded wild cards. Yeah, it's kind of strange. Which tournament has the worst draw ceremony? I'm not gonna. I don't think one has one bad. I think there's good. There's the people that do draw ceremonies are the ones that don't. That's the good and the bad. The worst ones are the ones that don't even stream a ceremony. Like that, the good ones are the ones that show the ceremony live, and the ones that don't show the ceremony is painful. There's no one tournament that has the worst ceremony because the ones that we don't watch are the worst. The ones we can't see are the worst, So it depends on who shows them and not. I'd rather see a draw ceremony with like 5 interviews beforehand, but see it live than sit here and wait for hopefully something. I think the biggest frustration is that just not knowing what's going on. Like not knowing whether or not they're going to do the draw now or in an hour or like what are they interviewing players? Like not knowing what's happening at the tournament. Like they say, hey, 3 o'clock, but then also it's 4 o'clock, So yeah, just not having not having that is a little annoying. So they were interviewing players before the tournament, before it. They're doing like they're talking to Brooksby and they're from Brooksby. But yeah, again, we're just going to wait for clarification on whether or not we get the women's draw today or tomorrow. You're missing Cerundolo, who withdrew. He withdrew like 5 minutes ago. The hell? Miami used to be good at Key Biscayne. Yeah, but there's a lot of reason why they had to move from that. Somebody put up a picture that tomorrow at 3 p.m. the draw comes out for the ladies. Ah, man. Where can you send it to me? Can you send me that so I can confirm? If you had to remove a 1000 and replace it with a 500, what would you replace? No, that's not the solution. That's not. I wouldn't replace any 1000 events. I just change the way that they're run. From 2 weeks back to 1 week for half of them, and then half of them be 2 weeks. I think that would be more beneficial for everybody, except for the tournaments that get 1 week. Separate days for a draw is so unnecessary. Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that. I don't understand why they would do that. It's like I can understand it for some tournament, but why? Like, why do 2 days for two? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It just seems kind of lazy. Like, oh, we're not ready for doing both, so we're gonna do another one tomorrow. You're like, why? Why? Just literally, just do it today. There's no reason to not do it today. What are they waiting for? Like, you know what I mean? It's silly. There's no point in waiting an extra day for a draw, like for the draw to come out. Cincinnati, Canada ought to be 1 week Masters. No, I think Cincinnati should be 2 weeks. Maybe Canada 1 week after what we saw this week with the players withdrawing. But again, send me the information. I can't see anything that says it's tomorrow, but But if we go back to 1 week, the number of players would be less. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the point. That's the point. There's a lot of play. Like, look, I know it's going to be harsh, but as much as you personally are like campaigning for the 80 in the world to get a chance. Okay. I don't want to see the number 50 versus the number 80 in the first round. No, like if you're watching, if you're not happy that like less players in the draw is not fair, who's watching the number 50 versus number 80 in the first round? Or who's watching two qualifiers who are outside the top 100 playing in the first round? Like, it gives them a chance, that's great, but also, no, I don't know how many people are watching that. It's not interesting for the majority. Like, it's unfortunately, it's just not a match that people want to watch. Unless you're a hardcore fan of those players, So, yes, 1 week Masters have less players, but also it creates way more interest early. So the tournament's better for it. But also, like, 1,000 should be a bit, it should be an exclusive. You can't let, like, 500 players play every tournament. Like, that's not how tennis works. Like, the top, you got to earn your spot, So if it's a 1 week Masters and you only get 60 players in the draw, yeah, you got to be top 60 to get in. Like, you have to get to that point. Because if you let 90 players play, it's great for the players that are outside the top 50. But who's watching those players? Unfortunately, not many people are watching those players or those matches. And it just waters the tournament down a bit. And it makes it hard to watch these tournaments, Again, it's not those players' fault. They didn't decide this. But how are number 80 players supposed to sustain themselves? By playing smaller tournaments? By playing the qualies? It's up until this point, up until like the last 3 years, it was... Or, I don't know, you know what the solution could be? It could be take prize money away from the winners and make the prize money even for not even, but like make it better for qualies. Change the way that you can, not give the $1 million for the number one or the person who wins the tournament, and then 10,000 for the first round loser. Like, make the prize money like $500,000 for the winner, which is more than the second place, but also then more money for the people that lose in the first round. That could be a better way, or the qualies, whatever. You could do that. But like, as a tournament for the, again, you're the only person that's like campaigning for the. Bia, do you like 2 week Masters? Do you watch 2 week Masters from are you watching from the very first day, every match? Like, are you happy? Do you like 2 week Masters? Or are you just campaigning for the lower ranked players? Which I get. Like, I get that. But 1 week Masters are way better spectacle, because first of all, day 1 and 2 we get a lot more interest than we have to wait until like day 5 until we start getting some good matches now. And I don't think that's good for anybody, All right, so apparently the draw's coming out tomorrow. God, this just, what a kick in the balls. I was just trying to see the positive. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, one of the positives is that it gives an opportunity to lower ranked players to get a chance to play main draw tennis. But again, I don't see any problem with them cutting out the first round and making that final round of qualifiers, because it pretty much feels like that anyway. And then make it a 64-player draw, no bye in the first round, 6 matches to win. Everybody, for the main draw. I think that's way better, a way better product. And then you have 3 rounds of qualies. So 3 rounds of qualies, and then 6 rounds of main draw, No one gets a bye in the first round. Seeds play, number one seed plays first round, and it's way more impactful. And maybe you only have 16 seeds. Maybe you don't get 32 seeds. Maybe it's 16 seeds. Because 32 seeds and 64 players would be too many. So only 16 seeds, 64 player draw. The players that don't make the first round go to the qualifiers. You know, that's a much bigger quality draw. I think that would be better for us to watch. More interesting. But that's not going to happen. At least not now. Monte Carlo is by far the most enjoyable 1,000. Yeah, Monte Carlo's great. And they can't make that 2 weeks because there's not enough time in the day. Yeah, 64 player draw, 16 seeds. Yep. Which means that you would get number 20 in the world possibly playing number 1 in the world in the first round. That's way better. Way better. Way more interesting than having to wait 6 days to have Sinner play somebody who's tough. Even then, Sinner's not playing somebody in the top 20 until the 4th round. And the 4th round is like a week into the tournament. You know, like that's crazy. The fact that like day 1 and 2 is first round, Sinner doesn't play, right? Or Alcaraz. Make your choice. Day 2 and 3, or day 3 and 4 is second round where Sinner and Alcaraz play unseeded players, which are outside the top 30. And then day 4, day 5 and 6, the seeds collide, but it's Sinner number 1 versus 30 in the world because the top 20 don't play in the number 1 until the 4th round. So we have to wait until day 7 and 8. We have to wait a whole week to get a top 20 clash. That's crazy. That's crazy. We have to wait a whole week to get a top 20 clash. That's not good. And that's only if those players win. There's there's no guarantee that we're going to get a top 20 clash in the 4th round if players lose. It's crazy. Yeah, and that's if those players win. You know, if those players lose, then we're going to have like the number 1 versus number 80 in the 4th round, which is not good for the tournament. It's good for the player who's number 80, but it's not good for... Nobody wants to watch that, unfortunately, unless that player is someone who is, very popular or of note or is dangerous, But anyways, we talk about this all the time because they do them all the time. Yeah. Chat, again, I ask this all the time because I say these things. This is how I feel, but you might think differently. Do you like the way they do these? Do you like this format? I don't think it's the best way. We could do it better for the fans. The fans could get a better... It's not a great fan experience. I don't think it is anyway. No need for so much rest when it's only 3-set matches. Yeah. I don't like 2-week masters at all. Lower ranked players should get a chance to play top players, really. That's the only way they get better. More opportunity, the better. Okay. But again, I ask, are you watching those players? Or are you just saying that because you want to be, you want to be fair and I get it. That's one of the positives of 2-week masters is, opportunities for players that wouldn't get them. And that's great. That's great. But that's one of the only positives. If not the only positive is for the players. It's great for the players. Well, those players. 2-week tournaments are slow. I like 2-week masters when there's time in the calendar. I lost interest halfway through the second week of a Masters. That by the final, I'm over it. That person won, good for them. Yeah. It's hard to maintain interest, I think. Even now, Cincinnati draw comes out and we're still only in the quarterfinals of Canada. We're still trying to get through Canada. 2-week Masters in October, it's okay. Yeah, because we have time, right? Just remember the feast of condensed good matches we had in Monte Carlo. Oh, yeah. Anyways, they're not going to change it. If the fans don't like it, it's not going to change because of us. They'll change it if they have a reason to change it. All right. Anyway, so they're doing the women's draw tomorrow, so that's a great decision. I mean, come on now. The men's draw came out. Women's draw is coming out tomorrow. Anyways. Oh, apparently because Naomi Osaka might get a performance buy if she wins today. That's why they're doing the draw tomorrow. Okay. Patience is a virtue. Hey, look, yeah, patience. We'll be but I mean, we've been patient and we'll be more patient. So, chat, just be patient. Draw comes out tomorrow. Again, I don't know if we're going to do one of these tomorrow. To be honest, like I said, going forward, I don't think we're going to do these because unless they show the draw, it's not really that. I feel like it's just not really that interesting for for you guys. Like doing these draw ceremonies when there's no draw ceremony to watch is kind of a bit boring. It's better when the draw ceremony is being shown and we can actually watch it and get excited about things and go through stuff together. But I don't know if we're just waiting for them to upload a file to a website is kind of a bit of a. I don't know if it's worth sitting around for 2 hours. So I don't know if we do this in the future, or if we even do this tomorrow, because it might be better just to wait until the draw comes out and then talk about it. And just So we'll see what we do in the future with this stuff. We'll definitely do it for the US Open though, because obviously that's a big deal. But I don't know if I'm gonna do these in the future, unless they start streaming the draw. If they start streaming the draw, we might do them, but we'll do them more because there's something to watch. But when there's nothing to watch, I feel like it's a bit of a waste of time for everybody. You guys are sitting around waiting. I'm sitting around waiting. When we could all just wait for the draw to come out and you could just look at it yourself, But we'll see what we do. I'll see what time I wake up tomorrow. We might do it again. Oh, I'm really bummed that they didn't do the friggin' draw today. So dumb. Do the draw on the same time, tournaments. Don't drag it out. The tournament's already a drag. You don't need to drag it out for the ceremonies too. We're patient, but don't test it. But anyways, men's draw comes out. It's kind of interesting, I guess. I mean, I don't know. We're going to come back and watch Canada quarterfinals. That's coming up in a few hours, so I'll see you guys then.